Howdy, Jason here, and today we're back with the Autoedit Jeep with the new MetalCloak suspension on it. And I had a second, just a few minutes, to get it out here to Hungry Valley again to test out the new suspension. Now, I've driven it around town. I freaking love the thing. So we're gonna stretch its legs out here on the off-road park. It's pretty crowded out here today, but we're gonna have some fun. Let's see what she can do. First up, don't think I'm gonna attack that big puddle like this guy. Looks like he thought twice about it as well. I'd like to mention, though, that I did install the exhaust spacer since the upgrade video, because I still have the stock drive shafts on here and I needed that little bit of extra room. However, the first few hundred miles since the upgrade have been flawless so far. Now let me tell you about what it's been like to drive this thing around town. Now I've done quite a few miles back and forth to work, and it's about 42 miles each way, and it's mostly bumper-to-bumper traffic and around town. Now, my biggest compliment to this suspension is the fact that when you're hot dogging around town, it feels just like it did stock. And that's like a really understated compliment. And what I mean by that is that even though you're sitting up a little bit taller in here, the thing handles or feels as planted and solid as it did with the stock suspension. Now, I wasn't super happy with the stock shocks. The Rubicon shocks on this thing weren't awesome. I'm kind of picky that way, and they just weren't ideal. They weren't great. And then I put 37-inch tires on this thing, and they were junk. And I didn't expect any more from them. I kind of knew they weren't designed to handle that kind of mass, unsprung mass outside the axles. So putting these shocks on was a phenomenal upgrade. Now, my guy Scott over at MetalCloak, he's the guy I talk to on the phone, and that's kind of a cool thing about a company like that where you can actually call and get a guy on the phone. He said that the Rocksport shocks actually have this same feel to them, and they're a bolt-on and forget it kind of application, where these six-pack shocks, where they have that high performance feel to them, they're gonna be a little bit higher maintenance. You're gonna have to, check the nitrogen, because they're nitrogen charged shock. So you have to check the nitrogen every year or so, just to make sure everything's okay. They have a firm but not harsh feel to them. And I appreciate that. And so when Scott kind of told me, he says, are you sure you wanna go that way? If you don't mind having that little bit of maintenance, the six-pack is the way to go. But if you wanna just bolt them on and forget about them, then go with the Rocksport. And I'm a dude. I want the fanciest, coolest thing that I can get, and I'm glad I went with these. I've already been stopped a couple times out here for people to just take pictures of my shocks. That's not a bad thing. It's kind of cool. You socialize with your fellow Jeepers, and they like your junk, and you get a chance to meet someone new, and it's been kind of cool. So as I've kind of gotten a few miles on these things, they've just kind of broken in a little bit, and they actually feel better and better the more I drive. I've actually, on my WJ, I had some Deutsch Tech shocks, and they were a little too firm for my taste. They were harsh. These are not. So I'm actually pretty happy with them. And they look rad. All right, let's climb this little hill right here. Just kind of put it in first gear. Let the thing work. Definitely flexes a ton more. Man, I can just hit whatever on this thing. Let's just creep it on up here. Let's actually just put the wheels on some of these rocks here. Let the Jeep just do some work. Cool. Wow, that's pretty neat. Kind of easy. Let's just go right back down that. So other than getting an alignment, I haven't made any adjustments to the suspension yet, and it's working pretty dang good for right out of the box. Yeah, buddy. Oh, he just blew his bead. Whew. Now, let's hit these pipes that we hit the first time out here. I have a feeling that it's a little wet, so that should prove to be a little odd, but let's see what we got here. We'll just let the suspension do its job. See what the Jeep does. Uh-oh. Yeah, being wet seems like a no joy situation here. Let's get out of here. Yeah, they're just too slippery in the wet. So we're gonna climb this little dirt hill here. It's got an opportunity for some good articulation in here. Let's just keep it in second gear, 4 low. Let the wheels work. Let the suspension work. Oh wow, this is cool. Wow, that was awesome. Look at that. Whew, okay. Man, I've never seen this place this crowded. All right, let's cruise around over to some rocks and see how this thing does. Holy mother of pearl. That might be a little bit more than I want to bite off today. Well, let's go a little ways in here and see what we got. I'm not sure we belong in here, but let's see. This is as good a test as any to this. Jeep feels pretty at home just creeping through here. We'll take it. Look at that. All right. Yeah, buddy. I would have never tried that before. So there you go. There is a quick showcase of how good the suspension is just on the break-in phase. Gratuitous mud shot. Until next time, enjoy your drive. I'm gonna just play around in the mud for a little bit more.